Alright, good afternoon. Let's continue with our Guild Wars 2 personal story playthrough as we continue to muddle our way through Season 3. And we are at Crack in the Ice. Right? Bram has gone after Svanir and the Shiver Peaks. So that actually goes quite a ways earlier in Season 3. That's actually kind of mentioned like right at the beginning of Season 3. Bram was always going after Svanir in the Shiver Peaks. That is what took place after Heart of Thorns, right? It's like a cathartic thing for him. Um, he's working out his frustrations with life after the loss of his mom or whatever, right? Um, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna try and recruit him in Dragon's Watch because remember we stood up a new guild, right? Previously, our little band of misfits was not a guild per se; it was just a band of misfits. Now we're like formalizing it, I guess, as a guild. I don't know what that actually means. I don't know. So in the game, there's actually a mechanism for like guilds, right? So Three Swords Gaming here. Where you like register it with like the guild registrar. So I guess that's what we've done with Dragon's Watch. But also, oh yeah, it did say, and the other thing. And find another corrupted sample for Taimi. So apparently we're still doing research for Taimi as well. Yeah, let's actually activate that. And we're on our way back to True. Oh, yeah, so we actually saw I wasn't looking at it when it happened.
Must have been some sort of projection. I should return to Tarir. Something strange is going on.
So it's not actually that strange. It just seems strange to the commander right now. But like, Aurene like projected an image of herself, and Arene's just like goofing off, doing like. Earlier I mentioned like they kind of use like kitten type behaviors for baby Aurene, and that's essentially what Aurene was doing in that projection, right? Hopefully, I didn't check the time. I hope the meta's not taking. Okay, good. So if you're trying to get back into what? Okay, well, who cares? If you're trying to get back into Trier and the meta's taking place, that can potentially be problematic. They are going to give us. I don't think they gave it. I thought they gave it at the last. Yeah, so we haven't got it yet. Maybe at the end of this instance we get it, like an item that makes that kind of a non-issue. But really, it's just inventory clutter because you're not really going to use it again after the instance in which you obtain it in the first place. So more big wins for ArenaNet there. All right. What is going on? Hey, Luminate. I saw weird things. Oh, more weird things.
Commander, excellent timing. I was just about to send word. Aurene has been calling for you.
Yes, I know. She's been appearing to me, much like she is right now.
Aurene? What are you talking about?
And she's gone. Didn't you see her?
Interesting. I saw nothing. You must have made quite an impression on her. It's as if she's chosen you to light her path. For now, Aurene is just an infant, forming her first pictures of the world around her. But make no mistake, she'll one day achieve great power. As her guardians, it's our duty to set her down the right path.
I'm at Aurene's disposal. What's the plan?
A bond already exists between the two of you. Our goal is to nurture and strengthen that bond. To that end, we've prepared a series of challenges meant to demonstrate virtues to the hatchling. In the chambers ahead, you will help the needy, defend the weak, and train Aurene for battle. In the final chamber waits the truest test of your bond. A foe that you can only defeat with Aurene's trust and help.
We've got our work cut out for us. Is Aurene ready for this?
She'll be fine. Just be patient with her. Aurene's at a rambunctious age, and she sees everything as play.
The voices of these Luminates are actually really cool. I speculate, I don't know, It may have been in some AMA at some point or something. But I kind of speculate that what they did is they had like 3 or 4 voice actors read the lines, and then just adjusted the gain for the different tracks and merged them all, and that kind of get that like fluctuation of various voices while the Luminant speaks. I think it's cool. I think it's a really cool effect. Kaith, what are you doing here?
Do you have a moment?
Kate,
I
how's
guess.
going here?
Quiet for the most part. Between the Exalted and myself, Aurene has a lot of eyes watching over her. I wanted to tell you how much I appreciate you letting me stand guard over her. After all that's happened, I want you to trust me, like you did before.
Mordramoth turned all of our worlds upside down.
That's putting it lightly. Since the Firstborn awoke, our trust and faith in the Pale Mother has been absolute. Then we heard the call of our Creator, our true Creator. That Creator now lies vanquished. Where does that leave the Sylvari? What is our place in this new world we've created? No one can answer those questions for us. We must answer them with action. There is much to do.
It'll take time, but I'm sure you and your people will find a way forward.
Thank you, Commander. Don't let me keep you. I've got things well looked after here.
Okay, so we have like stupid dialogue and good dialogue, like kind of interspersed there. I don't know why we are now making excuses for Kaith. Like, there's still no excuses. And even if the commander is Sylvari, I mean, like, for me, if the commander's Sylvari, that makes Kaith's actions that much more inexcusable, actually, instead of less so. But here we go. The commander's making excuses for Kaith now. But the dialogue about, the question of what happens next with the Sylvari is very good, and probably could have occurred earlier than 9 months after the end of the Heart of Thorns. But it is good dialogue. All right. So we got. I'm not even going to read any of these. I don't care. We'll see all that as we proceed. So the Exalted really seem to love Tess, because here we go again. Oh, and this is actually should look like a really familiar place. We were here last time that we went through a test.
Aurene, come on out.
Oh, Aurene, what are you up to? Oh no, where'd she go? So this is like a hide and seek thing. She's actually like stealthed. If you get close enough, you can see her, but you're not gonna. There we go.
Found you.
Gotcha. I don't know that there's any like set sequence. I don't particularly remember if there is or not. I think she'll just teleport away. Like she's not
be around here somewhere.
where she disappeared from. Whatever. It's.
Found you.
I would potentially call this like a
All right, Aurene, we've had our fun.
kind of a
But it's
filler
time to get to
instance.
work, don't you think?
But I don't think that was the intention at all. I don't think it's intended to be a filler instance. I think there's a portion of the player base that not only values the story, and I value the story to an extent. I'm frequently disappointed by the story, but I do value it. I do play the story. But I think there's a portion of the player base that not only plays the story, but like really gets into it.
To demonstrate charity and benevolence to the Scion.
Yep, charity and benevolence.
How
Let's
about
do it.
Aurene? Are we ready?
Then let us begin.
All right. Portion of the population. And I think they really want to see certain things beyond like, oh, bad guys and whack the bad guys and bad things and chaos. Just like the farewell to air instance, this is another one of those where they're appealing to that portion of the player population that like wants to see that full spectrum of life for the commander. And what our relationship for Aurene is. That's 100% what this entire instance is about, is developing the relationship between Aurene and the commander.
Oh, thank the sakes. I haven't seen another soul in some time. These children are in desperate need, stranger.
What's going on?
These kids were orphaned in a vicious attack on their village. They lost everything. Their homes, their families. I'm taking them to an orphanage, but we've got a long road ahead of us, and we've just run out of food. There's good fishing in the shallows nearby, but I can't leave the children. I'm awful at fishing. Could you help help us gather some food to get us through the rest of our journey?
What do you think, Aurene? Should we give them a hand?
Alrighty, so let's give these orphans and this, what was it? It was like a Priory Arcanist, wasn't it? Yeah, Priory Arcanist. Taking care of these orphans, so we're gonna give them all a hand. So the idea here is that we are teaching Aurene a lesson
Go see what we've caught, Aurene.
by demonstrating, by exemplifying a behavior. In this case, selflessness and caring for others and so forth, right? Again, if you want the story to show the development of this relationship, then that's probably not a bad way to go about it.
Time to
I
some
could do
damage.
without it because I don't know that it was necessary to tell the story. But if the narrative folks feel it was, I mean, this isn't like, I got a lot of problems with a lot of things they do in the story. This isn't really one of them. All right, you want to kind of demonstrate the development of this relationship. That's fine. It's not terribly engaging, not particularly interesting. But it's not a problem in terms of storytelling. Whereas in season 3, so much of what they do is.
Time to do some real damage.
And I've talked quite a bit about that. There's some pretty poor dialogue, but there's also just bad story structure in terms of what is the story you're trying to tell, and I don't know that they know. So this is not the problem in season 3.
Aurene,
It's just not
you're
that
not eating
engaging.
any of that fish, are you?
Don't eat the fish,
Because
Aurene.
we're supposed to be feeding
Damn it.
starving children. Starving orphaned children. We'll eat when we're done, okay?
Way to guilt trip a
I'm gonna
child,
assume
Commander.
that's dragon for understood.
Oh, smoked fish, I guess. There we go. Giant fish on this smoker. Look, the fish are as big as the Arcanist here. Which resulted in, apparently, like 20 smoked fish dinners. Ah, that's good. That's a whole bunch.
This is quite a bounty you've brought us. We should have more than enough to last us through the rest of our journey. As a matter of fact, it's almost too much. Here, take some with you. For your companion.
Yay, so we kept a smoked fish dinner.
A lot, but at least they won't be going hungry. Thanks so much for the help.
You hear that, Aurene? You did a lot of good here.
So if this is, which, I mean, it obviously is. So with this serving the role that I described as kind of, establishing that relationship, then in that sense, it's not done badly. You would think that someone with a child wrote some of the dialogue for this one, because the dialogue is consistent with the way one might encourage a child.
And honor for Glyn's sire. Are you ready, Commander?
Sure. Which one's this? Oh yeah.
Let's get started.
The trial begins now.
Who goes there? Are you friend or foe? State your intentions.
Come here. Calm down. We mean you no harm. What happened to you?
We were ambushed by dragon minions. It was absolute chaos. Our casualties mounted swiftly, so we fell back here. We're tending to the wounded as fast as we can, but the creatures are hot on our trail, and it won't be long before... Wait. Do you hear that?
Oh no, bad guys.
Oh no! More of them! We're defenseless! Please wait!
All right, so we really want to get the portals down fast. Yes, the Mordrim that come out of there are a problem as well, in terms of being a threat to like these innocent pact members who are here trying not to get killed. But you know, the enemy will keep respawning out of these portals till we get the portals down. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get all these wounded folks up one at a time and get them to safety. Safety being the other end of the room. Alright, so let's do that. And once we've done one, Aurene will like get an understanding for how it works. I just wanted to get those 2 portals down before I did the first one. But once we lead this guy to safety, then Arene's like, oh, I get it. And she'll start doing them too. Which is kind of advantageous for you because you're going to want to keep, you know, there's an achievement associated with like not getting any of these wounded vigil killed. So if you really want that achievement, then you're going to want to, you know, keep those portals down. I think I actually already got that achievement when I did this on 0 to 0 because I was trying to gain access to Bitterfrost Frontier map, which we'll be at here in a little bit, for the Ascended Trinkets. If Bloodstone Fen is the best, quote-unquote, map for getting Ascended Trinkets, then Bitterfrost Frontier is probably the easiest in terms of the map currency and how easy it is to obtain, and there's the sheer amounts that you can generate pretty quick. So as part of the 0 to 0, trying to get Ascended stuff, it was important to me to gain access to that. Okay, here we go.
Time to do some real
More
damage.
enemy portals. Oh no, you get away from him. Alright, so that should do the trick. You can get that last one, Aurene? Hurry up. Make it snappy. Ah, he's right here.
That should be all of them. You and your people are safe now.
I can't believe we survived. We'd all but given up hope before you came along. You and your companion, Aurene. Thank you both.
We were happy to help. Good luck on the rest of your journey.
Good job, Aurene. Way to do things. Alright, so that was 3 trials, right? Oh, no. No, I forgot about this one. That was 2 trials. Oh, this one sucks. This one's awful.
Greetings, Commander. This trial is meant to convey the virtues of courage and valor to the hatchling. Shall we begin?
I guess.
Absolutely.
Prepare
I
yourselves.
feel good.
So unlike the other 2, this one's like purely combat related. And kind of not really all that fun, to be honest. Just because it feels like a lot of these are like HP sponges.
Feel the fury.
And you need Aurene to come along with you. Because what you need is, you can't damage these generators, right? Aurene will destroy them. If she'll hurry the hell up. Oh, nice.
Feel the fury.
Alright, there we go. She destroyed that one. So your whole job is clear the path. by killing the oozes. Unfortunately, the elite oozes, like I said, are really, they're not like particularly dangerous. Now that I've said that, I'm going to go down at least once. There we go. Yeah, nice. But the real problem with the oozes is that, ooh, I am going to go down. Aurene can get down too during this one, actually. Look at that. There's like 4 elite oozes. Annoying. It's just so time consuming to like work through all these oozes. Because they're going to continue spawning. So I don't know. I don't want to call it a DPS check because I don't feel like that's exactly what it is, but it's kind of buzzkill. That's what it is. It's a buzzkill. Oh, did she clear that thing? Guess she did. We're behind on the oozes, though. Not, like, disastrously so. But just frustratingly so. Of course, they'll stop spawning from this one, but that doesn't mean that they've stopped spawning for the next one, so... we still have some catching up to do. Ah, boo. We're gonna go down again, too. Look at that. What a pain in the ass. That's another elite, right? No, that one's not. Alright. Ah, Ring got down, I got down. Because they're just dumping elites on us here.
Hurts, doesn't it?
It does, in fact. Thank you for pointing that out, kind of. Alright, we gotta get a Reem back up here in a second.
Barely. Rejoining the fight.
No, well, that was a waste. Oh, man. Alright, are we almost caught up on these stupid oozes? Good. Get over here, Ring. Let's... Oh, good. Another elite. That's exactly what I wanted to see.
They'll have to hit much harder. I think that's all of them.
There we go, finally.
You fought bravely, Aurene. Good work.
I wonder if I should switch to Untamed. Not doing very good on Soul Beast. Certainly an idea we can play with, but not right in the middle of this fight.
Welcome to the last chamber, Commander. Here your bond with the hatchling will be put to a final test. You must work together with the hatchling to defeat the foe that awaits you. Are you prepared to face this challenge?
We've come too far to stop now. Let's do it.
Ready yourselves. The test begins now.
So generally speaking, this isn't too bad. But you're not going to kill it with your weapon attacks. So when you're when you're going through it, you shouldn't worry too much about that. And like trying to break the break bar at this point, also, normally when you see a break bar, like your priority should be, how do I break that break bar? That's not something that you should be terribly concerned about at this point in the fight. There's going to be a mechanic here in a minute that's going to like kind of tell us everything that we need to know about what we want to be doing here to succeed. Honestly, I should just be auto attacking. I shouldn't even be using like the other skills. All we're doing right now is dancing around, wasting time until the first Aurene attack is going to queue up. That attack that takes up half of this little circular area here, though, is problematic if you get caught in it. It will cause a bit of damage. And note that this guy's attacks like are refilling his health. So again, like you're not going to kill him with your weapon skills alone. You can work him down pretty good, but that's just not how the instance is designed.
Feel the fury.
Alright, there we go. So Arene's going to go to her little circle. We're going to go to our little circle. Special action key, where essentially we tell Aurene to do her thing. And that's going to result in the Ley Leecher being vulnerable. And then you can do like a great big damaging attack on it. I'm dodging too fast before my... And you're going to have to do it at least twice. So you saw that like that burst should have been successful in killing it, but that didn't go according to plan. Burnt both my stun bricks. I'm actually doing a really bad job after the burn. You have to burn twice. It's just how it's. We got to 25% with the burn. Would have completely killed it, but we got to 25% and it just wasn't having any more of it. And in fact, it's built back up to 35% because I'm doing so bad post-burn here. There we go.
Feel the fury. Your moment has arrived. Don't hold back now. That breath attack of yours was phenomenal. Outstanding work. I should speak with the Luminate. You rest now, Aurene. You've earned it.
Well done, Commander. We've given the hatchling the best possible start that we can. She still has much to learn about her place in the world. But thanks to you, she has a foundation of trust to build on.
Commander, do you read me? Sorry to interrupt, but I have
Taimi.
news. I've been examining the destroyer sample you retrieved, and I've come to a conclusion. I was right, as usual.
So it's true. The dragons are absorbing each other's influences and becoming more powerful in the process.
That's right, and there's more. I've been digging through old Radanovan research on Primordus for an exploitable weakness, and I found a solid lead. According to these findings, Primordus' domain of magic can be counteracted somehow, negating it altogether. As for the possible counteracting agent, I'm still investigating. New answers lead to new questions. What's your status?
I just finished spending some quality time with Aurene.
Glad to hear it, especially if it lessens the likelihood of an older, bigger Aurene going rogue and slaughtering us all.
I definitely wouldn't object to having a dragon fight with me rather than against me.
There's an appealing thought. I wonder if... Commander, that's it! We need a force that can counter Primordus. What if it's another dragon? An ice dragon, for instance? Remember when I was telling you about that chalk organ? How it could selectively filter certain types of magic? If we can
can discern magic types, we may be able to pit Jormag and Primordus against one another, destroying them both at once.
Are you suggesting we get Jormag and Primordus to fight one another? How?
Not the dragons themselves, their energies. As for how, I'm not quite sure just yet. Our first task is to test the theory.
Okay, let's say we pursue this course of action. What comes next?
We confirm the theory in the lab, utilizing small amounts of magic to see if they'll actually counteract one another. And we'll need an ice brood sample. One showing signs of influence from our dearly departed Mordremoth and Zaitan.
Then I'd better get to the Shiver Peaks. I'll find Bram while I'm there and talk to him about joining Dragon's Watch.
I'm sure he'll want to hear all about our new plans for Jormag, too. I'll get to work on some means of pitting the energies against one another. Good luck in the Shiver Peaks, Commander.
So that's a stupid idea. This is that item I was talking about, by the way, that now we can come back to Trier, like, whenever we want. But we're not... Story doesn't really call for us to come back to Trier much after this, so I don't know, like, what that... It just takes up space in your inventory. It's a stupid thing. But more stupid, the story. So we're going to put these two dragons in a jar and shake it and see who wins the fight, apparently. That seems to me to be like... So you have a dragon that's fire and a dragon that's ice. That's fine, I get it. To some degree, the dragons were sort of pseudo, like, based on the elements, but not exactly, like... Because you have both ice and water, but then you have death, but you don't have life, and I don't know where, like, plantiness is on that, unless the plantiness is meant to represent life. In which case, I guess, could Mordremoth and Zaitan have counteracted each other? And then what would that lead, like, crystal counteracting what? Water? Like, I don't know. There's some issues with it, which makes, like, the Primordus versus Jormag thing, like, all that much weaker. Everything about that idea is really, it's childish to the point where I think, you know, and don't get me wrong, like, there were plenty of folks in the fan base who were always like, oh, if we get these two, and that's why it feels like they're indulging the fan base, indulging them at their, like, lowest common denominator, which is putting two bugs in a jar and shaking it. It's just incredibly stupid. And even within the lore and the world building of Guild Wars 2, there's a lot of reasons to believe it would be a really bad idea. When the, you know, if you go back to the first Guild Wars and the lore and the world building contained there, when the gods did battle, it caused an entire sea to evaporate and become desert. So the story goes. So we want two Elder Dragons to do battle? Like, this is just ridiculous. And Taimi kind of gives us an out, like, well, no, we don't want the dragons to actually fight. We just want their energies to counteract, and we'll see what comes of that later.
This fine day?
I'm seeking information on Jormag's minions, and also looking for Bram Airson. Have you heard any reports of Ice Brood that don't fit the expected description?
As a matter of fact, we have. We've heard word from the far north of a corrupted creature unlike any we've seen before.
But we don't advise traveling to the frozen wastes. Everyone who does either disappears or returns as Svanir. We've lost too many.
Lost because they went up there without shipping the tooth first.
What's the significance of the tooth?
Our most legendary ancestor, Aesgeir Dragonrender, knocked out Jormag's fang and founded Holbreck around it. Once someone damages the fang, we'll know it's time to take back what Jormag stole.
My comrade Taimi and I are working on a theory that could allow us to fell Jormag without sacrificing lives.
Jormag had better watch out then.
It's not certain yet, and I could use some help. Do you know where Bram is? And Rox? Is she here?
Rox left with Garm yesterday to catch up with Bram.
Bram has gone to the far north in search of a lost magical scroll he plans to use on Air's bow.
That sounds like a fitting way to honor his mother.
There is no more dangerous area in the Shiver Peaks. I wish you good hunting.
Okay, so we're just gonna go to the most dangerous area. This is the tooth that they were talking about, by the way, and it will be relevant like later in the story, so might as well. I can't ship it, but I'm the chosen one. Oh well. Let's talk to Elder Elf.
In the far north, just beyond civilization, there exists an expansive tundra overrun by Svanir and Jormag's ice brood. It is believed that Jormag has taken up residence nearby.
We're gonna kind of skip that.
The Dragon's influence corrupts all who go there. The only safe place is a Coden sanctuary, where the Quaggan and Coden residents stubbornly refuse to give up the fight.
Okay, so the reason I wanted to skip some of it is because this character hasn't actually been like that far up there yet. So it would be pretty reasonable to assess that at the time this was released, like most, assuming you play through new story on your main character or the main-ish character you have, then most players were going to have some or all this map like already kind of exposed, because it's an old core map, and they presumably they may have done like a Honor of the Waves dungeon, and they may have been up here to do like Claude Jormag or whatever. Like, presumably most players are somewhat familiar with this map. This character just doesn't. I've never had a reason to be up here with this story character before. So we're gonna go up here, and that's gonna give us access to this map, which is the map that came out with this Living World, season 3 chapter 3 release. Right, season 3 they did one of the things they did really well was release a map with each chapter, and I honestly do think that season 3 ended up being a problem for them in some ways, them being the studio, because it made promises they couldn't keep long run. In season 3 they successfully released, in part because they had those 3 teams working concurrently. That's why that's part of the reason the story is awful. But what it did result in is ineffective turnaround time in terms of like the projects, the different releases, to where every 90 days, give or take, every 3 months, we got new content. I don't think they've achieved that again since season 4. It ended up being like hit or miss on whether they'd hit 3 months or 4 months or kind of. I don't remember what Icebrood Saga was. I was out of the country for much of Icebrood Saga. That's why it's the one chapter that, like, in terms of achievements and mastery points and stuff, like, I've never quite caught up on. The masteries are also trash for Icebrood Saga, which is part of the reason that I've never put forth like significant effort to catch up on those masteries. I'm gradually chipping away at. Oh, is there an invisible wall there? What the heck? Gradually chipping away at it, but we'll get to all that later. I don't believe they've ever really maintained that release cadence since season 3. Not really. And there were other dynamics to season 3 as well that I think may have proved, again, kind of made promises that they weren't able to keep, as far as, season 3 made Ascended extremely accessible. They did not do that with any subsequent season. There were limited Ascended, like, relatively accessible, like, there's one of them, like, there's an Amulet, Icebrood Saga, and stuff, but mostly, like, season 4 is more about other things. Season 4 gave us a lot of skins, which season 3 didn't necessarily give us, so they've kind of changed things up as time went on, and I think it's just to try and, to give players variety, and I can appreciate that, but B, I think there were aspects of season 3 that were difficult to live up to going forward. Hey, Kodan, dude, what's up?
I seek passage to the north.
Then you are on the right path. But to follow it, you must take up Coda's flame.
What is it?
This is the very spirit of fire, as old as the world, given to my tribe by Coda the Creator for safekeeping. The fire brings balance to corruption. If that is your purpose, you must carry it to survive.
I think you should listen to that bear, Commander. I'm picking up some very high readings from that fire.
Alright, so we're gonna carry the fire.
Oh, you've definitely just picked up some ancient magic.
Go now. Carry the fire into the north. My people will teach you its secrets.
Cool, cool. What was the mastery for this? It wasn't... That wasn't the mastery for this one, was it? It was. Ugh. Yeah. Kind of a waste. Whoops. Wrong button. Maybe some folks really enjoy, like, the Coda's flame thing. For me, like, not so much so. Don't care that much. Like, right now, I think mine is... Yeah, mine's, like, out of fire. There we go. Now it's ignited. Sprint, and these other skills are locked. So this would be, because I've completed this mastery, like now I can unlock these skills. So there's different skills here. Man, it like we're gonna complete this whole story without using any of this, and I don't recall like ever using any of it on my main account for anything at all at any point in time. Maybe there's something I don't know about. Now, what this is used for is... There we go. This is the one thing that it's used for. Is because, see, like, we lost one charge. And each time we do this, we'll lose another charge. But we can unfreeze these treasure chests. Let's see if we can regain our charges. We should be able to do that because the brazier is actually... So some of the events that you'll do on this map are defending these braziers. And that's going to allow you to keep these charges for, like, treasure hunting purposes. There's another chest. Another opportunity for us. We'll use a charge here. So you can see they're defending the... Oh, did they just finish? No, there's more guys coming. So that's kind of what the whole, like, that thing is. And it just doesn't feel like substantive. Now... You know, spring of 2023, right? What does the future look like for Guild Wars 2 Masteries? I don't know. They're running out of stuff, right? Like, I can't imagine that, like, further mobility is, like, something that, you know, like, we've pretty much tapped out the mobility thing. So I don't know what else they would want to do there. Iceberg Saga showed us what happens when, like, the masteries aren't good. And that is you get masteries that simply help you kill enemies easier. Oh, wait, I didn't open that one. And so what does that mean if you can kill the enemies easier with the mastery? It either means that the mastery trivializes the map, or it means that the enemies are intentionally overtuned to force you to get the masteries. Are either of those things actually good things? Because I feel like the answer is probably like no, right? So again, that Iceberg Saga is the dangers of them like feeling obligated to do masteries, which they were because they said they would. Iceberg Saga was advertised as expansion content, but not an expansion, and it was nowhere near expansion content, in my opinion. And you know, ultimately just kind of ended up, I don't know, it's some of the better storytelling, gave us a couple good maps. Iceberg Saga's not a wash, but it didn't live up to the way it was advertised. Alright, let's go here. We need to find out what's going on this map, right? New place. Let's get the lay of the land. Talk to some people who know what's going on around here. I'm looking for Bram. Hey, where's Bram? Are you familiar with the Braziers? Yeah, you know, I just talked through all that. I'm not gonna... Oh, teddy bear. Hey, deep water, buddy.
Turn back now. Return from whence you came. There is no hospitality here.
Jeez.
Oh, now, fool. Even Quaggan's small eyes can see that this traveler is not lost, but on a mission.
I was just trying to warn her.
Quaggan knows what you were trying to do. Save another life. Commendable. But this traveler needs help, not saving.
I offer my apology. Welcome to Sorrow's Eclipse. We are surrounded by corrupted creatures here. I was merely concerned for your welfare.
I appreciate the concern. I'm looking for strange ice brood. Have you heard of any that have changed recently?
Do we dare mention it?
Quaggan is hesitant.
What is it?
We have had reports from the bitter north of a new ice brood abomination. It defies explanation.
Yes, that's exactly the kind of thing I'm looking for. How do I get to that place?
You don't. The entire area is too cold.
We've lost those who strayed too close to it. We don't know whether it was the cold or the ice brood.
There must be a way to protect oneself from the cold, no?
Speak with Shaman Mimi. She has much advice to give. Maybe she will know what to do.
Thank you. I'm also looking for a Norn named Bram Erson. I heard he was headed this way.
Quaggan has not met him, but Quaggan and Coden will ask around. If you see any Quaggan or Coden herdmates, tell them to come home, please.
Okay. So, Shaman Mimi. I 100% assume that that's like a kind of a play on words. Is Shaman Mimi a meme? I don't consider. I'm fine with Shaman Mimi. Like she's a-okay in my book. But I don't know. All right.
Quaggan is a shaman to Malagin. Quaggan knows you. Your legend has traveled far. Are you here to kill Jormag?
First, I need to find one of Jormag's minions. A powerful one that isn't like the others we know.
And you have heard that one exists in the coldest part of the Shiver Peaks. Yes, Quaggan sees that is true. Quaggan can help you, but only indirectly. You will die if you go up there without protection. In Quaggan's nightly spirit wanderings, Quaggan has seen Svanir who travel in the bitterest cold using magical protection.
That sounds like what I need. Where can I find it?
Your journey will be long. First, you must go to the big Svanir base and talk to them. They know.
Talk to the Svanir? Is that a joke?
The only way they will talk to you is if they think you are one of them. You are clever. Quaggan has faith in you.
I see. I think I know a way around that. May Malagin watch over you and keep you safe, Shaman.
No, that's nice of us to use a culturally appropriate, greeting or farewell or whatever with the shaman there. So for the second straight chapter, we need to disguise ourselves. Is that also a product of 3 different teams working on the story? That we get redundancies? 2 different teams both thought, hey, it would be great if the commander wore a disguise and had to find pieces for the disguise and all that. Oh no, we need to get
some real damage.
Forgot I didn't have a sickle, and we need one now because I do want to kind of show off the map currency real quick.
No free samples.
I want a free sample. I just want some harvesting sickles. Come on, dude. So this map, oh, is he just gonna hang out up there and not actually take down? Oh, I didn't equip it yet. So this map, coming back to something that I talked about with the last chapter. Oh, I got frozen. Which is the AFK farming issue. This map had a huge problem with it for a while. And it would be centered around these nodes, but it wasn't the nodes themselves. It wasn't the winter berries, which are the map currency, that were the problem. It was all the little like creatures that come down off of it. And that's because, you know, on this map you can get like buffs that will increase your karma, and those enemies provided, you know, those enemies would drop loot. So a whole bunch of necros or NGs or whatever could just kind of hang out here at the base of one of these, and it was apparently, you know, I've never done the AFK farming thing. It's like I would feel gross about that. But apparently it was lucrative, and you know it's been a problem in several different season 3. So this issue goes back a long ways. This is something that came along with season 4. It's not something that came along with End of Dragons. It goes way back. I don't remember it being a huge problem, like when the only thing out there was core. There was a period of time when bots were a big problem, and you'd see like whole like packs of them, like 10 or 15 bots all moving together and doing their whole thing together. ArenaNet took care of that pretty quick. With AFK farming during season 3, ArenaNet addressed it each time. Did they address it perfectly? I don't know. I'm not gonna speculate on it. They showed investment. They showed concern for their product. They attempted to make normal gameplay rewarding by removing avenues that made irregular gameplay or non-existent gameplay. AFK farming is not gameplay. You know, by removing the ways of making that profitable. It was a huge problem with the next chapter. Is it? Yeah, it is the next chapter. And you know, I'll mention it when we get to that point as well. We'll take a look at it, but they were willing to address it once upon a time. I was thinking about this a lot, you know, after my frustrations with the last map and seeing it on the last map, and kind of asking myself, like, well, what does it mean that they're unwilling to do anything about it now, when they used to do something about it? Is it an indicator of a problem, or what does it mean? And it's a bad sign. It's a bad sign if they care that little. If you care about the game, knowing that the studio doesn't should be real alarm. They still care about making a profit. The regular updates to the gem store. You know, if they stop updating the gem store, then you really want to be concerned, because now they're no longer interested in making money. That'll be a real clear indicator of what's going on. Here we got some of it going on over here. That's good. I was a little worried that we weren't going to see any today. This is going to be an ongoing problem all through Season 3. It's going to be an ongoing problem all through Season 4. Because they don't care. But
I could outrun a centaur.
With every indicator that the studio doesn't care about the welfare of the game, or about how it feels to play the game, you should grow a little bit more concerned. I think each one of those is an indicator that we're moving a tiny bit closer to maintenance mode. Keeping in mind that it's very, you know, presumably they still make money off the first Guild Wars. It's still live, like you can still play it. I was logged into it a few days ago because I hadn't been logged into it in a while. So I went, you know, I logged in, checked it out. I got literally 100 birthday gifts that I need to go through, and I just haven't been motivated to do that yet.
Back to the fight, my friend.
So when Guild Wars 2 goes into maintenance mode, they're gonna make money off that too. But what they won't do is any more development. Each time they put less effort into maintaining the game, taking care of the game, you know, each time their stewardship of the game decreases. Mini expansions, not addressing, you know, apparently abandoning the world versus world revamp. It looks to me like it's abandoned. They did a whole bunch of betas and then what? Nothing. And presumably it was going to be, you know, I was definitely under the impression that if they were going to do it at all, it'd be live by now. A whole bunch of betas and then zip. You know, it just everything. I don't. It's not a good look. If you, like I said, if you really love the game, I think you should probably be concerned. I don't know that I love the game anymore. It's still what I play the most of. It's still my favorite. I don't. Why am I going up here like this? All right, so let's get back on point here. I'll stop dooming the game for a minute. So we got our various armor pieces, right? Killed some Svanir and gathered pieces for a disguise. So just like with the Mersat thing, yeah, same things, 2 straight chapters. Now we can blend in. Now we look like the rest of them. Now we're supposed to go up there, and we will get the recipe for a tonic, if you will, that's going to allow us to go into the cold, cold, cold region of this map that we cannot go in otherwise. We'll talk more about it tomorrow, but it's a really unfortunate design issue. You know, I think they really made a huge mistake in how they did that tonic. I think it's really problematic. But, you know, it is what it is at this point, so yeah, I'm certainly not going to go back and change it now. But while we can move around them without them, you know, without drawing aggro, let's come up here and grab that. And if you were to enter this map for the first time, and like you'd never done any of this stuff before, strongly recommend getting this mastery point at this point in time when you have the little disguise. Now you can get the disguise anytime you want though. So let's say you do the story and then you're completely done with the story and you're like, I never got that mastery point. You can get the disguise again. Like, it's not. But it just makes it that much easier to come up here. Could you, you know, kill everyone on your way up there? Yeah, absolutely.
Use all the thaw elixir. Go and gather ingredients to make more. Ugh. Why do I have to do everything myself? Because I'm surrounded by idiots. You there, get out. We have no more elixir.
There's a question that's asked here, and I think it's, if I remember right, like it's literally gonna almost like word for word be asked here in a second, or it's gonna be made reference to at least. Why are there some enemies, like, again, we have this wild variance with the enemies in terms of like their awareness. So this guy can't even speak, but this guy is like completely like a normal person, except he's Svanir, but capable of like all like normal thought apparently.
Did you not hear what I said, you grunting mongrel?
I can help.
You speak?
Yeah, what? What?
You have power around you. Potential.
Help make elixir.
Perhaps yes, perhaps no. You obviously don't have the intellect of a sorcerer, but perhaps you could be my assistant. Listen closely. First, go out and gather the ingredients on this list I give you. After that, you must find the hottest, purest water source. Heating water with fire will not do. It must come from Tyria's heart. That is where you will put it all together into the elixir. Bring it back here. Do not drink it. Do you understand? Do not drink it.
Yes. Bring back.
Yes. Bring back. Okay. So I'm sure there are like reasonable explanations for why that is, and you can like kind of couch it in the, you know, the process that turns like regular beings into ice brood, and maybe it affects all of them differently and so forth. That's cool. No issues there. Um, why are they all fighting that? We got some AFK folks over here, or hey buddies, what you doing? Too lazy to report them right now. It would still be like, do humanoids who are too stupid to speak, is that really like a daunting or intimidating foe? I'm not. I don't know on that one. Like I don't like that particular encounter with the spawner, and we've already had other encounters with the spawner, going back to the personal story, and in open world and stuff, and we generally don't get that where they are like literally too dumb to speak. So that's kind of not a look that I like. There are times, among the many problems with season 3, there are times when you almost get the impression that that some of the folks who are working on it like weren't nearly as familiar with the game as a lot of the players. Which may be, maybe they were new hires, or like I have no idea. But again, not a good look, right? All right, we're gonna wrap this one up here because this isn't like a super deep chapter, and I'm gonna kind of make it last over 2 play sessions, 2 videos. So we're gonna pack it in here. I think this is probably roughly about the halfway point on this one. Trying to track Bram down. We don't really have any word about Bram. Honestly, that ends up playing a pretty minor part for most of this. Much like the previous chapter, where a seemingly small thing drives like the entire chapter. So think about this. Because really, like, this is like, I kind of can't get over it. I keep talking about it. They've given us 4 different things that are like big deals that the commander's all spooled up about. 2 dragons, Codicus, and Lazarus. And even if you want to say, well, Codicus and Lazarus are kind of tied in the same story arc, well, I don't know that they are, because they're not presented that way. They're really not. We don't interact with either one of them at the same point, like together at any point in time. They're 2 completely independent things in terms of the instances and the gameplay and our interactions with them. So the 2 of them, and then the 2 dragons. So they give us all this stuff. We spent almost all of the second chapter gathering some samples for Taimi, and then trying to keep the island from exploding, or the islands from exploding, which was really only to facilitate us gathering samples. We're going to spend almost all of this chapter just trying to gain access to, now I gotta remember where it is. Where is it? I forgot. It's up here. The coldest part of the map, so that we can get Taimi another sample. So we're gonna spend 1/3 of season 3 gathering samples for Taimi, even though they've given us too much for the commander to pay attention to. And then when we get to the point where we get to like the first half or even first 2/3 of Icebrood Saga, we're going to see something completely different. We're going to see a much simpler storyline, because this problem is going to continue like all the way through season 4. Honestly, this haphazard, poorly planned, poorly executed storytelling, unfortunately, is going to last for a few years in terms of Guild Wars 2's history. Then we're going to get to Icebrood Saga, and they're going to change it up. For all the things that I don't like about Icebrood Saga, trash masteries. That's the big one, actually. And then a bad ending to the story. But in spite of those problems, Icebrood Saga storytelling, for the most part, is vastly improved, and Icebrood Saga had some good points. And when we get to that, we're going to see a much simpler, more straightforward storyline that moves in one direction deliberately, and you're not really yanked all over on it. You just consistently progress in one direction. It was super refreshing after Season 3, Path of Fire, Season 4, and particularly Season 3 and Season 4, where there's just so much nonsense going on. So, Anyway, yeah, we'll gather some samples for Taimi when we come back, and then we'll also maybe get an opportunity to chat with Bram. So that's where we'll pick it up tomorrow. Thanks.